Single-family homes and condos are both great investment vehicles, but if you don't understand the differences, you could end up making a decision that costs you thousands in lost rent, unexpected expenses, or worse, getting stuck with a property that doesn't fit your strategy. As an investor, the goal is to maximize returns while minimizing headaches. Single-family homes and condos each have unique benefits and drawbacks, but which is the right choice for you? Many investors jump into real estate without fully understanding all of the variables: monthly costs, cash flow potential, exit strategies, and tenant considerations. Making the wrong decision can leave you with an underperforming asset. Let's break it down to ensure you make the right choice. So, single-family homes as rental properties, SFH, okay, that's what they're referred to, are often considered the traditional choice for rental property investments. I mean, what makes them so popular, and are they the best option? So let's break down the advantages and disadvantages, okay? Advantages: strong appreciation and market demand. Higher demand from home buyers. Single-family homes appeal to first-time home buyers, families, and investors, creating a larger resale market. When you're talking about first-time home buyers and larger families, I think it's obvious, but condos, typically apartment block type things. You might have some condos in bungalows, very rare. I rarely see condos that are above a 2-bedroom. Never mind in a house, you've got 2, 3-bedroom, 4-bedroom, 2-bath, attached garage, yard. You don't really have that in condos. Not that there's anything wrong with condos, but it might appeal to a smaller, more exclusive market, executives. You might have 1 or 2 partners that are together there, executive rental, that type of thing. Okay. Single-family homes, better market appreciation. Historically, though, that's what I'm talking about. It's not my opinion. Single-family homes tend to appreciate faster than condos as demand for land increases. Now, here in Winnipeg, Canada, as you know where I'm based, the condo market now is not bad. But, if you go back 3-4 years ago, you couldn't, it was soft. And I think a lot of that had to do with all of the new condo builds that they had appearing at all at the same time. I've even seen entire condo complexes, like a 10, 12, 14-story condo building, turned into rental apartments because they couldn't sell the condos. Think about that for a second. And then because they had so many brand new condos hitting the market, why would you buy a used condo if you could buy a brand new condo for just a little bit more? So that made the used condo stock very, very, again, soft, harder to sell. Harder to sell means lower prices. Lower prices means it's not appreciating. And that's my point. Single family homes, as I said, tend to appreciate faster than condos. Long-term tenants and lower turnover. Again, this is not my opinion, but I'd rather think about it, my experience as a property manager for 25 years. When you talk about lower turnover and longer term tenants, you're not sharing walls. Okay, so in a condo, you've got probably a floor, a ceiling, maybe at least 2 walls, right? That you're sharing. Hallways, there's smells, there's noise in the hallways, kids running up and down. Like, it really depends. In a single family home, an SFH, you're going to find families. You're going to find that they want to stay there a long time. Because of that, there's lower turnover. You might have professionals. They want stability. A lot of people are choosing to rent a house long-term rather than buy a house. So you're also tapping into that long-term market. Here at Upper Edge Property Management, we're seeing, I've had tenants in the same house 12, 15, 20 years sometimes. It's a long time. Longer lease terms. Okay, that's another advantage. Families prefer consistency, meaning you could have tenants renewing for years and years, as I just said. You have fewer tenant issues. So with condos, because there aren't shared walls and because there aren't, maybe the potential for noise complaints. We're not talking duplexes. I did that in the last episode last week. We're talking single family homes. So there's no noise complaints unless it's the neighbors partying. But, again, you can't really choose your neighbors. You might have your tenant complaining to you as a landlord about the neighbors, not that you can do anything about it, but at least you're minimizing everything that you can because of the asset class that you've chosen. In a house, here's another advantage. The tenants are paying for utilities and minor maintenance. Okay, so unlike condos where maintenance costs are shared in those condo fees, those common element fees, those strata fees, if you're talking in America and the US, single family home tenants are usually responsible for your hydro, your electricity, water, your heating bills or your gas bills, lawn care, snow removal, and minor maintenance like light bulbs, fuses, furnace filters, what we in the industry call consumables. That means lower operational costs for you as an investor. Now, more on this when we talk about condos in terms of those condo fees. A fourth advantage for single-family homes is greater control over your investment. What do I mean by that? Well, you're the boss. You own the building. You own the land. You can go there. You can choose to fix it, not fix it. You don't really have anybody other than, of course, your city bylaws and your neighborhood violations. But generally speaking, if you're a responsible landlord and you're keeping a decent house and you're not letting the tenants, have the grass be 3 feet long, you have a greater control over your investment. What do you have in a condo? Well, you've got the condo board and whatever restrictions they feel that they want to put there. If there's condo board restrictions, you could have pets, what you're allowed to have in rent, parking violations. I mean, I'm not, at least up here in Manitoba, in Canada, we wouldn't be allowed in a condo to say what type of people you have there, although you do have 55 plus condos. So again, you wouldn't be able to have children in there, okay? When a house, you don't have to worry about that. You can decide the rental rates, you can decide the lease terms, you can decide what you want to do in renovations. You don't have to worry about community guidelines or anything else that's written into those condo rules and regulations. Flexibility, future use, okay? So you can live in the property, you can sell it to another homeowner, you can rent it long term. Lots and lots of advantages, and I think that's why single-family home rentals is arguably the single most popular asset class ever. Now, higher acquisition costs, okay? That would be one disadvantage of a single family home. It's going to cost more than a condo. Generally speaking, okay? Single family homes are going to be more expensive per unit than condos. They require a larger upfront investment because of that. Down payments can then be higher, and then financing is often more complex for single family homes, okay? Especially if you're going to be buying multiple single family homes. Let's talk about another point about single unit, okay? A single family home. 100% vacancy risk. If it's empty, it's empty. If you have a multifamily dwelling, you're house hacking, you've got a duplex, one side empties out, you still have some kind of income coming in to cover your rental income, your expenses, mortgage, property taxes, insurance, holding costs, right? If you have a single family home, that tenant moves out, you're losing 100% of your rental income until you find a new renter. Again, multi-unit properties spread that risk amongst multiple tenants. Maintenance, 100% your responsibility. Roof, plumbing, HVAC, everything falls on you, the owner. And unexpected repairs can cut into your cash flow, making reserves really essential. So make sure if you're in SFH single family homes that you have some kind of maintenance buffer, some kind of bank account there. Okay, let's transition then into condos, condominiums as rental properties. Now, condos are often seen as a lower cost entry into real estate investing. I mean, you might be wondering, why buy a condo if they're that bad? Well, they're not bad, they're just different. You just have to know, and that's why we're doing this podcast, you have to know the differences between the asset classes so you can make an informed decision. So typically they're lower, okay? I mean, you can buy a house for $300,000, $400,000, $500,000 here and rent it out, and yet a condo could be $150,000, $200,000, $250,000 because it's just a different asset class. But does that always mean they're the better choice? So let's talk about advantages and disadvantages. First, we'll go over advantages of condos. Lower entry costs and financing advantages. We talked about that. So if there's a lower purchase price, then they're going to be cheaper than condos. The condo is going to be cheaper than single family homes, and therefore it makes them more accessible. It's maybe even better as a beginner to get just started into some kind of rental property. Because they're a lower price, you could technically say that they're easier to finance because they qualify for similar mortgage terms as a single family home, but it's going to be less. So maybe you might even get a better rate because you're putting more down payment or things like that. Now, we talked about maintenance in single family homes. In a condo, maintenance, and again, there's this thing about what's outside the walls and things like that, because what's inside the walls you're responsible for to a large degree. But generally speaking, your roof, your outside, your windows, your grounds, whatever it is, the maintenance is handled for you by that condo management company, the condo board. So the condo board manages exterior upkeep. Roof, siding, snow removal, landscaping, parking lot sweeping, painting the parking lot lines, electrical issues. That's all covered by the condo corporation. So therefore, you shouldn't have any major repairs. You don't have to worry about exterior renovations, and that reduces your long-term capital expenses. I'm going to talk about what could happen there in terms of reserve funds and large expenses, because ultimately, I think you are paying for it, just not all at once. Because of the amenities, that can attract a certain type of tenant, okay? Many condos offer perks: gym, pool access, tennis courts, underground parking, secure entrances. You might have security guards, cameras. I'm thinking rooftop terraces, communal barbecues. There's just so many different things, and I know that I've seen, like, a lot of people might be wanting to be in these high rises because it makes them feel a little bit better, and they don't have to do the snow, right? So it does appeal to a certain type of tenant. Okay, maybe younger renters, they want a turnkey lifestyle. So those are all the good things. Of course, we're doing pros and cons of both asset classes. So let's talk about the disadvantages of condos. Number one, monthly condo fees. Okay, they eat into cash flow. And I would say, in my opinion, that is the biggest disadvantage of condos, is that condo fee. Because unlike single-family homes, condos require monthly fees that you must pay, either whether the unit is occupied or not. And these fees you're paying to that condo board or through the condo management company. I've seen typical fees, I don't want to say typical, but I've seen fees ranging from $200 to $800 a month. And when you're talking a single-family home that might have $200, $300, $400 maximum of cash flow, depending on your market, $200 to $800 of condo fees, that's going to eat into or kill your cash flow. Okay, number two second disadvantage, condo board rules can limit your investment flexibility. What am I talking about here? Well, I think the obvious one, a couple episodes ago, I talked about short-term rentals. A lot of condos built into their bylaws will not let you rent it out short-term, right? Airbnb, VRBO. So a lot of the condo boards are cracking down on Airbnb to prevent excessive turnover. They don't want the partying, that whole NIMBY. I talked about that, not in my backyard. If you're interested in short-term rentals, you want to know a little bit more, go back a couple of episodes. I did an entire episode on NIMBY and short-term rentals and how a lot of municipalities and cities, states, and provinces are going away from that, which I personally think is a little bit hypocritical, because we're all going on holidays. Where are we renting, right? Okay, anyways, back to today's episode. All right, another disadvantage, rental caps, okay? Some buildings limit the number of units that can be rented out, okay? So if you're an investor and there's a brand new build and condos, and you can get in right away and you can take advantage of some of those builder incentives, discounts for brand new, even warranties and things like that, and you want to buy a bunch of these, 3, 4, 5, 6, sometimes they're going to limit the number of rental units in there from a single person, because they don't want the landlord going in there, and it's going to affect and prevent you from leasing your property. So I think the lesson there also, if you learn nothing else from me here, do your due diligence, make sure that you dig right into those condo bylaws, because every single building is different. And that's where we talk about here, special assessments, and talk about, your cooling off period and making sure that you're doing due diligence. What's a special assessment? Well, if the condo building needs repairs, guess who's paying for those unexpected fees? And those could be tens of thousands of dollars. I mean, I know one story here of a condo building that, single condo unit that we were managing, and the condo board or the condo board management company that was hired there failed to do a proper inspection of the crawl space. And there was some cracking, some foundation stuff, and lo and behold, they had to go back in and fix it. I think it was $150,000, $175,000. And therefore, they're hitting everybody with the $50,000 special assessment, which basically means you have to pay this. And if you don't pay it in a timely manner, written into the condo bylaws again, they have the right to put a lien on your property, and eventually, if you don't pay it, seize it and sell it, okay? There's a lot of things there, right? It can be quite dangerous. You just have to make sure. Now, not that I'm saying condos aren't good. We manage a ton of condos. I'm just saying do your homework, okay? Another disadvantage, resale. Resale, I already talked about this in terms of Winnipeg, Canada here. The market's been soft for the last decade, other than the last 2 years, just because we have an artificially low amount of sales stock. But traditionally, rent resale can be more difficult because unlike single family homes, you have a smaller pool of buyers. It's economics 101. Smaller pool of buyers, supply and demand, okay? That's going to lead to longer time on market, lower appreciation rates, and tougher competition, especially if you have a bunch of similar units that are for sale in the exact same building, okay? Not just yours, but I mean, you've seen, if you've ever gone to a condo, and next time you visit any friends or family in a condo, take a look outside onto the front gate or maybe the door, maybe a fence or a bike rack, and count how many number one, real estate signs are on the boulevard. And number two, how many realtor lock boxes are there? Okay. So just picture that you're trying to sell a single family home in your neighborhood. You put a sign out, everything's good. You try to sell a condo and there's 5, 10, 15 lock boxes of all of the same type of condo that you have. Because really, let's face it, you could have a 1, 2, or 3 bedroom, but they're not going to differ that much other than if you're not lucky enough to have a brand new renovated unit. Now you're competing with people who have renovated their units. Good luck trying to get a good price for that. You're going to have to offer a discount, which means you're getting less money. Again, only comparing to single family homes. Let's spend the last part of this podcast really doing a direct comparison between single family and condos as rental properties now that I've explained the pros and cons of both. Single family home condominium purchase price. Again, single families, higher purchase price, condos lower. Okay, appreciation potential, however, for a single family is higher. With a condo, it's lower because of the fact that it's a condo and the fact that when you're appreciating a $300,000 house versus a $200,000 condo, and they're both appreciating at 10%, again, you don't have to be a genius at math to know that the house is going to appreciate at a higher rate. Okay, we talked about tenant types. So a single family home should be attracting larger families, professionals, long-term tenants, where the condos might be attracting young professionals, students, higher turnover. Speaking of turnover rate is going to be lower with long-term tenants in a house and higher in a condo with shorter leases, potentially even short-term rentals. Okay, vacancy risk. Now, this is, I guess, vacancy risk, now that I'm thinking about it, if you have a single condo and a single house, is going to be the same. One unit equals 100% vacancy risk. So let's just say that that's equal between single family homes and condos, unless you're buying a couple of condo units in that building, which you might be able to for the price of the house. So that's kind of an advantage. Now you can almost think of it as a duplex within, a high rise, right? Because you own 2 of those units. Cash flow stability, then, it's more stable if the tenant stays long term in a single family home. Again, we have people who've stayed 5, 10, 15 years with us in a single family home. It's less predictable in a condo because of the turnover, but it's also less predictable because of those condo fees. Those condo fees could literally change year to year. You've got a condo board, you've got a condo management company, you've got an AGM, an annual general meeting, where these things are decided on. Maintenance, though. Landlord covers maintenance in a single family home. The condo corp, at least for the exterior, covers the condo corp covers the exterior in a condo. So that's an advantage, I guess, to a condo. And then the landlord covers the interior for that condo. Special assessments. You don't have any special assessments in a single family home, but yes, of course you do in a condo, and that's the risk of unexpected costs. Exit strategy. Single family home, you can sell to a homeowner or an investor. A single condo, you can sell to an investor or a homeowner, but as a homeowner pool, it's more limited because, again, are you going to get larger families to buy their dream home, their starter home, those types of things, kids, larger families. Regulatory risks. With a single family home, it is quite minimal. With a condo, it's high because condo boards can impose new rules. One of the things I didn't even mention is a rental levy. Now, what's a rental levy? A rental levy is something, a price, usually they say it's held in trust, but it's basically an amount of money that the investor has to pay to the condo board to be held in trust because you are using it as a rental property versus living in it as a single owner-occupied dwelling. I have seen typical, $1,500, $3,000. The highest I've actually seen is $25,000. So imagine you buy a condo, you try to rent it out. So you rent it out, and then the condo board says, oh, by the way, don't forget about the rental levy. And you're like, what rental levy? Oh, we need $25,000 from you to be held in trust just in case your tenant does any damage to the common areas. That's what rental levies are used for, or damages the elevator when they're moving in. And you're like, 25 grand. Well, when am I getting it back? Well, we're going to hold it in trust until your tenant moves out. So, and that is becoming a lot more popular. And really, it's up to the condo board to put these things in place. All right. Which is better for you, single family homes or condos? And I think my point is, this is an educational podcast. There is no one size fits all answer. Single family homes offer more control, better appreciation, and longer term tenants, but come with higher acquisition and maintenance costs. Condos, on the other hand, provide a lower entry point, easier maintenance, but come with fees, regulations, and potential resale challenges. At the end of the day, the right choice depends on your investment strategy, your risk tolerance, and how hands-on you want to be as a landlord. So if you're thinking about investing in either single-family homes or condos, download my free investor checklist in the show notes, and we're going to help you analyze your next deal. Also, if you want to just speak about these types of things and any kind of strategies, I do have the online community. It's called My First Keys, and that's for real estate investors, where we're going to show you how to get your first rental or get another rental, but how to keep it through good property management techniques. And then if you want, scale into larger things like multifamily. So the link there is in the show notes. Let's get your portfolio growing, and we'll do it together. Thanks for watching today.